All right, we have one more book about gravity to read together because books are just amazing. They give us so much good information. They teach you so much better than I ever could. So this one is a graphic novel, and it's called How Do We Stay on Earth? Do you know how we stay on Earth? You probably do by now. And this is by Amy S. Hansen, illustrated by Corey Scott. How do we stay on Earth? A gravity mystery. Why am I stuck on the ground? The ground is never far from your feet. When you get out of bed, your feet hit the floor. When you run, your feet always return to the ground. Even when you jump, a force you can't see pulls you back to Earth. Why don't I float into space? Gravity is the force that holds you on Earth. Gravity pulls everything towards the center of the planet. So that's why it looks like if we're up here, it looks like people are upside down, but really their feet are just being pulled towards the center of the planet. That's why we're all walking on the ground. You can't see gravity, but you can see it at work. When you drop an apple, gravity pulls it to the ground. What if we didn't have gravity? Without gravity, there wouldn't be up or down. You couldn't lie down, jump up, or sit still to eat. That sounds awful. Gravity pulls everything toward the ground. How can I throw a ball up if gravity pulls it down? Good question. Gravity doesn't stop you from throwing a ball. It just keeps you from throwing it very high. You use a force to throw a ball. So that's a push force. You're pushing it by throwing it. Gravity starts slowing the ball when it leaves your hand. Soon the ball slows to a stop. Gravity pulls it back to Earth. Can I escape gravity? Where does gravity feel different? You can't escape gravity, but gravity can make you feel like you are floating on a roller coaster. Gravity's pull feels strong when you ride uphill. Your back is pressed into the seat. When you reach the top, the ride lets you fall. For a moment, your seat doesn't press on you. You feel like you're floating. You also might get sick. Where else does gravity feel different? Gravity feels very different on the moon. The moon has a smaller mass than Earth. Mass is the amount of matter that makes up an object. The moon's smaller mass means it has less gravity. Whee! Does my big brother have gravity? Do all objects have gravity? All objects have some gravity. Gravity makes all objects in space pull on each other. But even the biggest brother is tiny compared to Earth. His gravity is too weak for you to feel. I can't feel anything. How far does an object's gravity reach? The more mass an object has, the farther its gravity reaches. Earth's gravity pulls on objects far into space. It is strong enough to pull on the moon. Gravity keeps the moon on its path around Earth. Do astronauts feel Earth's gravity in space? That's an interesting question. Earth's gravity pulls on astronauts in space. They just don't feel it. Gravity makes astronauts fall toward Earth. Earth's curve keeps them from reaching the ground. This constant falling motion makes them feel weightless. Being weightless makes life difficult in space. I'm glad gravity keeps me on the ground. Look at all the astronauts trying to get all their things. Here's our glossary. An astronaut is a person who travels into space. Force is a push or pull on an object. Hopefully you know that by now. Gravity is the force that pulls objects towards the center of the Earth. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Matter is anything that has weight and takes up space. And weightless is free of the feeling of gravity.